Guys, welcome and thank you so much for showing up to the ultimate guide to crushing your goals. Real quick, will you guys just put yourself on mute if you haven't already? And let me just ask you, how many of you have set New Year's resolutions? I did, right? How many of you hate New Year's resolutions? Look, it's funny how many people I ask that question to, and they just hate it, right? They say things like, what's the point? I never stick with it, right? There's a lot of negativity around resolutions, but what even are they, right? Basically, it's the beginning part of a goal. It's a vision. It's a proclamation to be better, to do better, to live better, to take advantage of the time that we have on this planet. And the new year sets as a reminder that time is limited and we must act. So we make these resolutions in the beginning of the year, and then time passes and life passes, and we become less intentional as the months go on, until we are faced with yet another year. And we do it again. And we get frustrated because we didn't accomplish the things that we said we would. And then we do it again. Now, here's some of the flaws around resolution time. First is we don't have any. We don't have any goals. Some 80% of Americans report that they don't have any goals. And if we don't have an aim, then there really isn't any reason to be upset about what we hit. The second thing is we only say or think about them, but we don't write them down. And the third thing is we write them down, but we only write them once and then never again. Less than 4% of people take the time to actually write down their goals, and less than 1% review them regularly. There was a study done, 267 participants ranging 23 to 72 years old, randomly assigned to 5 groups. Group 1 was simply asked to think deeply about their goals and what they want to accomplish over the next 4 weeks, but don't write them down. Group 2, 3, 4, and 5 were asked to write their goals down. Group 3 was asked to also formulate a list of action commitments. Group 4 was asked to give that list of action commitments to a supportive friend. And Group 5 was asked to do all of the above and give weekly progress reports to that friend of their goals and what they committed to. Right? At the end of the 4 weeks, the participants were asked to give progress. Group 1 accomplished 43% of the goals that they intended to do. Group 5 achieved 76%. That's a 33% increase over the people who just thought about their goals. Now, for the 1% of people who have goals, write them down and review them regularly, they earn an average of 9 times more than the people who do not set goals at all. I don't know about you, but I want to be in that percentage. I want to earn 9 times more than the average person. Are we on board with that? Yeah. So for those of you who haven't, will you set some goals now? Does that at least inspire you to take some action around that? Before we continue, this talk is going to be about an hour to an hour and 15 minutes. So if you can't stay the whole time, I totally understand. There will be a recording sent to you. I hope you can, because we're going to go over a lot of information. We're going to go over my top 10 goal setting tips and accomplishment tips, right? But before we do that, a little bit about me. I became a massage therapist in 2006, and I didn't know what I wanted. I didn't always know what I wanted to do, but I always knew that I didn't want to do it for somebody else. And so I started working at Massage Envy, and I was there for about 5.5 years before I went out on my own fully. But the whole time I was doing that, I was trying to build a clientele on the side, and it just wasn't happening in the beginning. It wasn't really until I started reading business books, self-help, personal development, sales, customer service, anything I can get my hands on that would allow me to be better at business and to serve my customers as best as I possibly could. From January, when I started reading, to May, I went from doing 1 to 2 clients a month on the side to 7 to 8 a week in a matter of 5 months. I continued that through the rest of the year, and that gave me the confidence to go out on my own. And another therapist and I started renting a space in the place that I own now. My first month there, I did 16 hours. By month 6, I was at 60 hours. At that point, the other therapist had done 3 and he moved out and I took over the room fully. By month 12, I did 90 hours of hands-on work. And it was at that point I decided to hire 2 therapists. Now that was probably one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life. Because at that point, I had no experience being in charge of something or being responsible for somebody else's income. That is a whole different level of stress, right? I eventually grew that to 6 therapists at one point. I ended up taking over the spa that I was renting from and owning it. And just last year, I opened up my second location. So we have 16 rooms that we rent out to hairstylists, nail techs, massage therapists, estheticians. Now, before I wanted to have a massage custom, I wanted so many massage customs locations. And I wanted to, thank you, Carrie. I wanted to have like a franchise or a licensing model where they were solo practitioners under my brand and we just exploded and took over the world. But through the process of building my business and teaching my therapists how to be successful in their own practice, I fell in love with that part of it. I fell in love with training them how to be successful and watching them get the results from the trainings that we did. You see, I didn't start out knowing the things I know now, right? I didn't start out, but that's kind of what brought me here today. See, I didn't start out knowing the things I know now. I didn't start out having sales skills. I didn't start out with business skills or marketing skills. I had money blocks, right? I had a lot of things that I see that keeps people from building their business. See, I did have one thing though. I always had a positive and optimistic outlook. That's like the one thing that I don't know that I can teach. But everything else is the reason that I operate under the belief that anyone can learn and improve in business. And if I can do it, I believe that you can too. But you have to take action. You have to be committed to growth and improvement. See, I grew up without a lot of money. My dad went to jail when I was 11 years old. And thankfully, we had a lot of family around, so I was still very blessed with community and support around that family, and my mom always did the best she could. But I would get made fun of for the clothes that I would wear. You know, I never matched. I would start telling people when they asked, what the heck am I wearing? I said, dude, I'm sectional, right? They're like, what the frick is that? I'm like, dude, I look good from here to here, right? From neck to waist, on point. Hip to ankle, my pants are killing them, you know? And the shoes are always on point. We get like 1 pair of shoes a year, most years, which is like my one thing that kind of makes me feel like rich right now is that I have like way more shoes than I need. I even have like some shoes that I only wear with certain outfits because they match. That makes me feel like I made it. Do you guys have something like that? That's my thing. Also, sometimes I throw away the end piece of the bread, you know, just because I got it like that now, you know. But since I grew up like this, part of my why is never being broke again and never struggling like that again. And since I made it out of that, my mission and my purpose is to help as many people as I can do the same thing. To pursue and live the life of their dreams. To be rich, not just financially, but rich in relationship as well. So the more I get into it, the more I value relationships. And to be a service of others and our fellow human beings. See, none of this would be possible if I didn't dream. None of this would be possible if I didn't have a vision for what I wanted. And if I didn't write my goals, tasks, and actions regularly. And if I didn't take action on those things daily. So I was actually tearing up when I wrote this because I am freaking doing it. Right? Thank you so much for buying that planner. Thank you so much for trusting me and being here today to pour into you. Thank you. Don't try to make me cry more. Don't do that. But none of it would be possible if I didn't do those things, if I didn't write those things down and take action on them daily. Can you mute whoever that is? That's funny. So when I ask most people if they have resolutions, they say no. They say resolutions don't work. There's a lot of negativity around this, but is it true? I don't believe it. I don't believe it is. See, I believe that most of the hoorah around goal setting doesn't work, right? That go home or go home mindset, that all or nothing mindsets. So the mindsets that get us into trouble are things like where we want instant gratification. We want results and we want them now. See, most people want maximum results with the least amount of effort. And this is why pain pills exist. Right? This is why most people don't achieve what they want and they feel stuck and frustrated. We think when I tell clients that they start strengthening and eating better, right, and stretching and getting massage, and over time they'll feel better, like a lot better. You think they get excited about that? No. But this is what it's like being in business, right? There is no magic pill that will make you achieve everything you want overnight or even this year. And just like building a wall, you have to do it brick by brick. So what do we need to do to make our goals not just possible, but inevitable? Let's get into it. Allison, I believe you're here. Thank you so much for showing up today. I appreciate you. First thing is we need to work on our beliefs and our self-talk. Jim Quick says your brain is a supercomputer, and your self-talk is the program that it runs. Your brain is a supercomputer, and your self-talk is the program that it runs. I don't know if that hits you, but that hit me the first time I heard it. Right? Because what do we say things like, "Oh, I'm just so busy, I don't have time." Right? I'm always too busy, or I'm not good at remembering names is another one that comes up a lot with people, which is great for your networking and your relationship building when you're out there. See, if you keep saying, I don't have time, I never have time, I'm always so busy, your actions will work together and everything you do will work to make that thing true. So you'll procrastinate things until the last minute to create this feeling of being busy. You'll waste time on things that are unimportant, which then creates this feeling of always being busy. And if you say things like you're not good at remembering names, your actions won't work together to make that true. You won't do the things that make people good at remembering names. You won't be present when somebody's saying their name. You won't just do name associations or any of the other things that make somebody good at that. Your beliefs dictate your actions. Your self-worth dictates your actions. So what do we need to do? We need to work on those. One of the things my business coach recommends, which I've been doing lately, is mirror work. You know, Carrie and Allison know what I'm talking about. They're in my group. So we can consciously work on our beliefs until they become a subconscious thing, right? And we're going to verbalize our affirmations or our chosen beliefs, right? Things like, I am enough, I am worthy and deserving, I forgive you, or you are forgivable, I trust you, I attract my ideal clients, I allow myself to receive, I'm good and responsible with money, I do what I say I'm going to do, I'm an action taker, things like this. Right? We're creating a vision for what we're going to get into that in a second. The next thing you need to do is decide what you want. Coffee, the best. Right? If we don't know and we don't go after what we want, then there really is no reason to be upset about what we get. Right? One of the biggest mistakes we make here is we always say what we don't want. We're really, really good at saying, I don't want to be broke, right? Or verbalizing the things that we don't want in our life. But the thing is we're creating a vision here around what we want. We need a picture in our mind. Our mind sees in pictures, right? It's a goal-seeking organism, and it will create what it sees. Everything is created twice. First, in your head, in your mind, and then secondly, in the physical world. So we must focus on what we want, not what we don't want. Even if you say, I don't want to be broke, your mind sees in pictures. It is picturing you being broke, and it will create that. For example, do not picture me in a red bikini. Don't do it. Don't picture me with a nice halter top right here. How do I look? Right? Hey, good job getting that image out of your head. Well, some of the things we might want to take action around, and questions you might want to ask yourself is, what do I want to be, feel, do, or have? Yeah, Carrie, you will have nightmares about that. You ain't never seen a dad bod in a bikini like that before. What do I want to be, feel, do, or have? And spending some time and journaling these things. What do I want to feel more of? What do I want to create or experience in my life? For me, when I ask that question, the main things that come up are peace. I want more peace, and I want joy. Right? I want to be calm. I want to feel successful. I want to do more trips, have more time off. I want more money. I want millions in real estate one day. I have millions in real estate. I just haven't claimed it yet, you know? I want a paid off house. I want enough passive income that allows me to never have to worry about money again. Spend some time journaling those things. What do I want to feel more of? What do I want to create? What do I want to experience more? Like I said, peace and joy are my top two. Other areas you might want to have some vision around and start creating some goals around is your spirituality. You know, do you want to meditate more? Do you want to get in touch with your creator or God, or however you identify with that? Your health, your relationships, business and career. What goals do you want around there? Your financial situation, personal growth, fun. And then community building or giving back. So my coach, Tiffany, always says, your vision leads your life. So once you have your vision and you've created that, the next thing we need to do is we need to visit that vision regularly. And this is why in my planner, I have a space for you to write your goals down every day. 80% of people don't have any goals. 4% of people write them down, and only 1% visit those goals regularly. What do you think happens for the person that writes them down every day? Another thing you can do is you can create a vision board. If you don't have one already, make sure you're using pictures, words, or symbols that represent what you want or want to create in your life. Take time to visualize, ponder, and feel into your vision, dreams, and goals. And we first create things in our mind and then in the physical world. It's crazy, right? Once you have a vision of what you want, you'll start noticing the signs. Things will start showing themselves. And since you're aware of what you want, similar to me wanting a Subaru WRX STI, I see them everywhere. Yeah, it's my dream car. I see them everywhere, all day, every day. Right? And since you notice them now and you're aware of these signs, you can start taking action and taking advantage of the opportunities that were always there. Right? That Subaru was always there before I wanted it. But now that I really want it, it shows up all the time. Now that I am clear on what I want, it shows up all the time. And it's the same thing. You'll start feeling really lucky, right? Like we've all experienced, like, yeah, I set this target, I set this goal, and then all of a sudden I got a phone call from somebody who wanted something that I did, right? These people were always there. Now you're noticing these things. Who got the Jeep? It only says iPhone user. It doesn't say a name, and I can't see everybody. Sorry. The fourth thing we want to do is we want to focus on progress and effort, not outcomes. This is one of the biggest mistakes. I love it, Stacia. This is one of the biggest mistakes people make is we are focusing on the outcomes, right? See, the vision is the big picture. The goals are the steps to get there. What will I do daily, weekly, monthly to get there? What are you moving towards or building brick by brick? See, most people feel negativity or feel down about their goals, or they give up because they haven't gotten the results. And they're focusing on results instead of focusing on habit, instead of focusing on effort, instead of focusing on progress. We don't judge our goals by the harvest that we reap. We judge them by the seeds that we plant. That's why I got emotional earlier when I was writing this, is because I'm so excited. I know, Carrie, when Tiffany says that, it's a bar every time. I got emotional because I am just excited to be engaged in this process of going after what I want. Just the fact that I am engaged in that process, I am already successful. And just being engaged and focusing on planting the seeds and doing small daily actions. It's the reason I'm even doing this talk today. Right? I just had a daily goal of working on this presentation for just 30 minutes a day. Right? And that included things like reading books, listening to podcasts, setting a structure for the talk. Thank you, Carrie. Thank you for coming in. Setting a structure for the talk. Writing emails, making posts on social media, DMing people. I have no control. There's 9 people right here. I had no idea how many people were going to show up. But I am not focused on the outcome at all. I am only focused on planting seeds. Did I plant enough seeds? What else can I do to promote this workshop? It's one of the biggest reasons this planner is even done. Do you know how many steps it took? I listed them out. There's like 28 different steps that I had to take to get that planner done, including, and that 26 steps doesn't even include all the back and forth emails with my designer. But it's just one step, one brick at a time. I had no idea when the outcome would happen. I just knew that my harvest is inevitable. I plant the seeds. I water the seeds, but I can't bring the sunshine. But I do trust that God has a plan, and I trust that everything is working for me. And when you have that mindset that everything is working for you, then it's really hard to get down about what the outcome is. Because we can't see the other side of what that outcome is. What you're doing right now might lead you to something completely different than you had planned. You think I planned to be here today? I sure didn't. Not in the beginning. I should be opening franchises right now if it were up to my original plan. But each step, each seed that I planted led me to the next step. One of my favorite quotes is, before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. is before we achieve what we want, do the thing. Small daily actions. After we achieve what we want, back to doing the thing. Back to the small daily actions. See, we focus on effort and progress. It's the key to keeping your energy up around your goals. When going after something, we are in a process of transformation. We're in the process of growth, right? This takes time, more for some than others. Some of you are deep into your journey. Some of you are just starting out. That's why we can't compare our journey to somebody else's. Yours will take the time that it is meant to take. We're not after perfection here. We are after progress. So the question is, are you willing to take imperfect action in order to get what you want? Some days will be better than others. 10% effort will always be better than 0. Right, when we think we need to be perfect and we beat ourselves up because we weren't, then we will end up giving up. I had a client come in the other day who was real down. She's real down on herself. I'm like, what's going on? Like, what's going on? She's like, I only worked out 45 minutes today. I'm like, that's it? She's like, yeah, well, I did stick to my diet pretty good, but I had like 2 little donut holes in between. And I just didn't, I didn't do my best at the gym. I'm like, are you seriously upset right now that you showed up to the gym when you didn't want to? That you stuck to 3 meals and only had 2 small donut holes when you could have done what you normally do and went out to eat two or 3 times today? But it's because she's in this perfection mindset. I didn't put my, I could have pushed more. I'm like, instead of being pumped that we just made some progress today on what we're trying to achieve. We're going to focus on what we can control. We can't control the outcome. We can control effort. We can't control whether someone buys your service or your product. I cannot control how many planners I sold or how many people showed up today. I can only control the seeds that I plant and the effort that I take. How many people will I contact? How many relationships will I nurture or follow up with every day? How many posts will I make? Stories will I post? Thank you cards will I write? Or events will I show up at? Those are the things that we can control. How are we feeling so far? Thumbs up? Awesome. Yo, I can't see them. There, what's up? How are you? So the 5th thing we want to do is we want to focus on being productive, not busy. You see, you don't get a badge for being busy. You don't get paid for being busy. You get paid for being productive. One of the biggest things that has helped me is working on decluttering my mind. Not only my mind, but also my space. It's part of the reason why this office is the way it is because since getting this office done and cleaned and organized and nice in a space that I actually love, I have been way more productive. But decluttering your mind, right? What do we need to eliminate or complete? What do we need to let go of or clean up in our life? There's so many, I can imagine that there's so many things that are going on in our lives that are stopping us from taking action. But a clear mind takes action. My business coach, she asked me to evaluate my space. And she's like, how do you feel about your space? Like, she's like, declutter your mind, declutter your space, organize. And I was like, dude, I absolutely hate we went through the front of my house, my living room, kitchen, bathroom, upstairs, bedroom, all of it. I didn't feel good in any of my spaces. I didn't feel good about any of my spaces. And I didn't realize it until I did that audit of how much that is actually holding me back from some of the things that I want. I've been wanting to host parties and have friends over and people over and possibly even hold like small networking functions at my house. I would blame it on my wife because she didn't like our space. And I thought that I was fine with it. And it's her fault. And I didn't realize till that audit that it's stopping me. I'm using her as an excuse, but dude, I don't want people here either. And so we started making changes, and we started making slow, steady progress. Now the living room is done. The kitchen is painted for the first time. This office is painted, new desk, new decor in the living room. And I'm absolutely in love with my space. And I've had like 3 or 4 events at my house since doing that, including having my kids' friends and their parents over for New Year's Eve, which was a huge, like people I barely know, which was like wild for me to have somebody I barely know over at my house. So decluttering our mind, decluttering our space, organizing will absolutely help you be more productive. The other thing when it comes to productivity is we need to improve our focus. And one of the best ways we can do that is by eliminating distractions. Right? How many of us have like notifications popping up on our phone right now that are like taken away from this talk a little bit, right? Or I can't turn them off on this phone that I'm using right now, so I'm like trying not to even look at them here, but it takes me away for just a second. 50% of being productive is managing distractions or getting rid of distractions, right? I want technology working for me, not something that runs me or that I can't control. I turned off all my notifications on this phone, and I only get a summary 3 times a day because the iPhone gives you that option. So 3 times a day, I get a summary of what happened over the last few hours. I can take some time that's more intentional around getting back to some of those things. And it's those three, I think it's like 8, 12, and 5. I get notifications. And that also gives me a prompt to maybe check my emails at that time as well. So turning off, it allows me to be more intentional about when I look at my phone instead of constantly being pulled in. And I mean, this is text message. It's not, I turn off all notifications to social media, all messenger notifications. I used to think that I gotta answer it right now, or otherwise it's, like, no. I will be intentional about my time and when I answer clients back. I don't even text clients back now until I know I have time. What's up, Kathy? Thanks for jumping in. I don't even text clients back until I know I have time to respond. Because what happens is I'll be checking them in between clients, and then the client opens the door, and then I forget to message that client for the next 3 days. I'm like, shoot. For those of you who are coming in, please put your microphones on mute, please, and thank you. The next thing you can do is time blocking. You would be amazed at what you can get done in 30-minute time blocks, right? I'm talking notifications off, laser focused. Whenever I do, that's exactly what I did to get this talk done. I got 16 pages of a talk here. And all I did was just time block 30 minutes a day in the mornings to get it done. And since I've been doing that with my last several talks, I'm actually getting things done before they're due, which is wild for me. Right? Like I've had talks done a month in advance. Because you'd be surprised when you just set like 30 minutes, because we don't have to get it done today. We don't have to get it done this week. We just need to start brick by brick doing the things that need to be done. That 30 minutes, though, a lot of times will turn into an hour or an hour and a half where I'm just going. I'm just in flow. No phones, no text, no social media. You'll be amazed at what can get done in that amount of time. Another technique my business coach told me about is a pick 2. And I love this. Allison, who's in this group right now, is one of my accountability partners, which is another tip, because you can get an accountability partner. And her and I will pick one personal and one business thing that we're going to get done today. And if we only get that one thing done, then it's a good day. And so over the last month and a half, it's been hey, I'm going to work on my presentation for 30 minutes and I'm going to clean up one space in my house, or I'm going to get the dishes. And then we check in at the end of the day to make sure we got those things done, or if we need to take some time right now and finish them. You might want to ask yourself, Where do I need support? Where do I need support? Enrolling support can help, and to help take things off your plate, to declutter your mind. Maybe it's a virtual assistant, maybe it's a house cleaner, a handyman, a babysitter, a website developer. But just simply asking, right? Just simply asking yourself, where do I need support? And see what answers come up for you. For sure, for me, it's babysitting. I have Heather in this group is helping me out with some of my things, and I've enrolled her support with some of the tasks that I have to do at the spa. I'm looking for another virtual assistant at the moment. I have somebody who's doing some things for me, one of my wife's friends, and I'm paying her to get some things done for me. And taking these things off my plate is incredible, because these things, even though they're not urgent, they are there. They're taking up space in my mind, and they're stopping, and they're distracting me. So in the comments, where do you guys feel like you need some support right now? Maybe there's somebody in this group who can help. Is it a virtual assistant? Is it answering phones? Is it finding somebody to create funnels for you? Yeah, web development and funnel development, huge. I do that stuff myself. I don't enjoy doing it myself. I'm looking for support around that as well. But it's something I got to do right now until I can find somebody. But absolutely, as soon as I can get support around that, I'm going to do it. Because that'll save me so much time. The next thing we need to do is success is scheduled, right? We can accidentally get into bad habits, but we cannot accidentally get into good habits. Man, I wish we could. I can accidentally gain a bunch of weight, but I sure can't accidentally get rid of it. I can accidentally fall into bad habits of scrolling on my phone at night, but I have to intentionally shut that off and go to bed. So we need to identify our core priorities and where we need to schedule our time. My 5, you don't have to have 5, but my 5 are 1, rest days, days for rejuvenation, self-care, and fun. Those need to be in my schedule. Second, vacation and family days. Those are around personal stuff. Around business, I need sales and marketing. Business development is the next one. Fulfillment and actually delivering of my product or service, right? All these things need to be in our schedule. So when am I going to take time to do sales and marketing? When am I going to take time to do some business development and work on some things? So breaking those things down, vacations and family time is a big one for me, right? I have this big ass calendar. Everything's falling apart over here. Don't mind me. One second. I have this big ass calendar, and I bought this year as a reminder of the time that I'm spending with my family. The guy who created this, he recommends doing one big year-defining event, right? He calls it a Misogi. It's usually something he recommends is like something that challenges you, but it could be a big trip. It could be some sort of accomplishment, like a podcast or something like that. Plan it, put it on your calendar. The next thing he recommends is doing 6 mini adventures a year. Every other month, do something you wouldn't normally do. For me, that's going to the Grand Canyon. It's, taking my daughter to Universal Studios for her first father-daughter trip. But if we don't make this a priority, then it gets pushed off into the background. I can't tell you how many years I've been wanting to go sledding, but I never schedule it, and so we don't do it. The other thing I'm using that for is I'm actually using it to keep track of all of the quality time I'm spending with my family and with friends, my wife, loved ones. Anybody that I love or care about is going on that calendar as a visual representation of time spent. See, in my planner, Every day I have a place for you to write down your successes. That is key for you to go back and look at, what did I accomplish this week? Because sometimes we look at our weeks and we're like, what did I even do? I look back on 2023 and I'm like, what did I even do? I remember the last few months, but I'm like, did I spend any time with my family? And it doesn't take, unless I actually sit down and really think, I'm like, oh yeah, we did do that Big Bear trip in July. But everything else I forgot. And so I don't feel good about my year. Similarly, when you don't write down your wins and your successes for the day, you're not going to feel good about your week or your month. But you can use this to go back when you are feeling that way and say, oh, I've been planting a ton of seeds. I called 6 people yesterday. I sent 5 follow-up cards. I did a presentation on Wednesday. Look how much I'm doing to progress towards my goals. It's the same thing with that calendar around the time that I'm spending with my family. Second, again, priority, rest and rejuvenation. One thing I want you to understand is that you are the most important thing to take care of when it comes to achievement in your goals. With business and success, you must protect your energy at all costs. Exercising, moving your body, massages, sleep, meditation, reading books, hiking, turning off your phone and having time away from technology. Your energy and how you show up is your brand. And as much as possible, I want you to be showing up with excitement about your day. Not, oh, I'm in pain and I'm tired and I don't want to do this today. The more you can take care of yourself, the more you make yourself a priority, the better your energy is going to be. So take some time. You don't have to do it right now, but take some time and write down some things that help you recharge, that help you feel better. That, again, that could be massages, it could be exercising for sure. Working out and lifting weights makes me feel amazing. The stronger I feel, the better I feel, and the better my energy is. Dancing. I was literally dancing. It's on Instagram before I got onto this talk because it helps my energy. It helps me stay up. Write them down, get them in your schedule. Right? So often we experience stress and anxiety and around growing our business. Right? We need to have things in our schedule, not just for rest and health and rejuvenation, but also things that bring us joy. So the next thing I want you to do is I want you to create a joy list. This has been huge for me. You can, on a piece of paper, right down the middle, on one side you can have free, on the other side you can have paid. The more joy you have in your life, the better and more likely you are, I believe, to accomplish your goals and keep going. We don't have to suffer through this process. I thought we did, and I did suffer through this process in the beginning. But I believe we can experience so much joy along the way. We just have to be intentional about it. Some of the things on my list are going to the movies, arcades with my kids, dinner with my wife and friends, getting a massage, comedy shows. Some free things are going to the park with my kids, playing football or basketball, having friends over, dancing, listening to music, living room sleepovers with my kids. These things I look forward to. These things bring me joy. The more things I do that bring me joy, the better and happier I am. The easier it is for me to stick to my goals. The easier it is for me to attract the clients that I want to attract. Now, your energy will either attract people or repel them. Do you think the stressed out, frantic, no joy having version of you is attracting the people that you want? The more joy you have, the more attractive you are. The third priority around time blocking that you might want to do is sales and marketing. These are revenue generating activities. What are these going to be? Write them down, put them in your schedule. You can do things around nurturing relationships because let's be honest, business is all about relationships. And the better we can be at relationships, the better we are in business. The better we are at building community, the better we are in business. This is an area I understand that I need to improve in and have big goals around improving that this year. Networking, phone calls or connection calls. I don't mean just sales calls, just how are you? How you been? Is there any way that I can support you? Right? Following up with people, thank you cards, birthday cards, texting people, value add text, not just, hey, do you want to come in for an appointment? But hey, here's a podcast I was listening to. I thought about you, thought you might like it. Sending weekly emails and newsletters or hosting events and parties are all things that you can do around sales and marketing. You have social media stuff, video creation, social media posting, engaging with people on social media. Those are your revenue generating activities. You got to put the times, set times in your schedule to do this. Your business will not grow if you do not spend time here. The fourth priority was the business development. This is where you're going to get organized, work on processes and systems. This could be the time that you develop your website. You work on it 30 minutes, an hour. Working on funnels or opt-ins. It doesn't have to be done today. We just need to make progress on it. Creating email series. Can I get one email done today? That's going to go in this automated follow-up email series, right? This is where we're spending time working on our business instead of in it. Put it in your schedule, time block it, do a little bit each day. And the last thing is where you're going to spend most of the time, at least I do, right? 4 days a week out of my schedule is fulfillment on either coaching calls or on massages. Those takes up quite a bit of my time, and I fit everything else in where I can. This is where you're actually cutting the hair, you're doing the massage, you're doing the calls. A little exercise that you can do to help around this is you can write out, what is your ideal day? For me, I have to write down what is my ideal day that I do massages, and what is my ideal day like today where I'm just at home or where I'm able to work on my business. So I write out both of those. How do I want to start my morning? Right? If everything went the way I wanted, what would it be like? When will you have time in your day for you? I like to start it in the morning. When will you have time to do sales and marketing? When will you do your business development? What is your success schedule? I do recommend that you make sure that it includes you first. My coach recommends a thing called the Sacred 10. It's the first 10 minutes of your day, no technology, just you, either sitting in quiet, reading a book, something for self-development, listening to a podcast, but not going on social media, not checking your email, not things that are required of you, but something that is pouring into you. I like 30 minutes. I love sitting in quiet here in my office or in the living room and just having coffee by myself for 30 minutes. It is my favorite time of the day. I don't get to do it every day, but I do it most days. This doesn't need to be perfect. You're going to reevaluate this regularly, see where the time needs to be spent. Right? This happens with my personal life. I have that calendar. I'm seeing on the calendar that I'm heavy spending time with my oldest son this week. And so I have to make my other kids a priority and spend some time there this week. The idea is that we just want to be intentional with our time. Right? The problems are always going to be there. Right? Those can wait sometimes while we are more intentional with our time and focusing on what we need to accomplish. Is that helpful? Awesome. The seventh thing we need to do is we need to start trusting ourselves. This is absolutely one of the top reasons why we don't go after what we want. Why we may not even set goals in the first place is because we don't actually believe we will take the action necessary to create what we want. You see, my son, the other morning, he said, the night before, he said, Dad, I want to work out. Will you wake me up? I was like, yeah. So I went in at 6 o'clock. I go to wake him up. And he stood up. He's like, can we skip? I'm like, I lay down in bed with him. I'm like, look, bud, I, as your father, cannot allow you to not keep your commitment to yourself. I said, trusting yourself is absolutely one of the most important things you can do in this life. I didn't have somebody to do that for me. And I'm absolutely going to be that person for you. So get up and let's do this workout. He was like, what? I was like, dude, I just gave you like the best speech and you just say what to me like that? He was joking. He heard it, but he got up, we did the workout. Well, as adults, we don't always have that person for ourselves. We have to be that person. Right? I didn't have that growing up. I still don't. I mean, my wife, she does hold me accountable, which is great. I have Allison to help hold me accountable. So either we need to find an accountability partner, which is one of the main reasons why coaching is successful. It's someone to hold you accountable to what you said you would do. Or we need to be that person for ourselves. Because the more you trust yourself, the more you're going to accomplish. Period. And the eighth thing around doing that is the 5-second rule. Have you guys read the book, The 5-Second Rule by Mel Robbins? Buy your book. Game changer. The way we build trust in ourselves is simply by doing what we said we would do. Guys, we're almost done. By doing what we said we're going to do, right? You want to start with the small things and then graduate to bigger things. You could start with, I want to make my bed every day, and so I make it. You could start with, I see the dishes need to be done. And you have the thought to yourself, oh, I need to do those. And you just get it done. Right? In the beginning, you're going to have to push past a lot of feelings. You're going to have to, you're not going to feel like doing most of it on most days. Can anybody relate with that right now? Well, we start when we see something that needs to be done. And we think to ourselves, it needs to be done, just do it. Right? When we have a goal of working out and the thought pops into our head that we should work out before work or something, count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and just move to action. That's the 5-second rule. The counting stops the other thoughts that come into your head about talking you out of doing that thing. I'll just do it later. I'll just do it later. That is the thief of your dreams. 100%. I'll just work out tonight. What happens? Something else comes up at night. You don't work out. If we have time to do it now, count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and move to action. You're going to be dealing with a lot of feelings of I don't want to. But this is one of the reasons why it's so important that you take care of you, because the better you feel, the better and higher your the less likely you're going to have those feelings of I don't feel like it. When I'm high in joy, when I feel good and I'm not in pain, right? When I'm not inflamed and lethargic and tired, I don't run into as much resistance. My business coach is heavy on me about my self-care. And I want to stress that point more than anything else we've talked about today. Heavy on self-care. The more you do for yourself, the better you feel, the less resistance you're going to run into when it comes to accomplishing your goals. This one tip, the self-care and the 5-second rule tip, has the power to completely change your life if you just did those two things. Because it's rooted in action, right? Everyone is full of good ideas. Everyone is full of good intentions. The action is the missing piece. See, acting on the good ideas that pop up in your head and using this rule to also maybe stop you from doing things that are preventing you from getting what you want. right? Like I might be on the couch and I might be scrolling on my phone instead of going to bed. But you know, when I'm sitting there, that thought of I should go to bed right now pops into my head. What do? Just 10 more minutes. 10 more minutes turns into 30. All of a sudden it's 11 o'clock and there's no chance I'm getting up at 4 o'clock tomorrow like I wanted. But that thought popped into my head. I could have counted down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Got up, put my phone down, and went to bed. Right? So when I first got introduced to this rule, it's basically the reason I have a second location right now. I had an idea. I was like, why don't we do this? I talked to my wife. She's like, yeah, let's go. Immediately that day, I contacted a realtor and we started looking for properties. It's taking the time out of your idea to when you move to action. That gap is basically where all the magic is. I think of a client, I text them, I call them. I thought today I should make another post on social media about this talk. Send it. I want to work out. The idea pops into my head. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get up and set up the video and get it done. Even if it's just 10 minutes, even if it's just 15 minutes, get it done. It's progress. I have the idea, I do the thing. Now, if I'm in a place where I need to be focusing and ideas pop into my head, do I squirrel and go do that? No. I write them down and I come back to them later. Because I know that's a problem for a lot of people. It's a problem for me. Yeah. I write it down in my planner. I come back to it later and get back to focusing on what I was doing. Or I just ignore that for now and it'll pop up later, whatever. The thing is that it's very difficult to start new habits because we already have things that are habits that we need to break. Right? If my goal is to work out 3 days a week, I know that in order to do that, I need to get up earlier so I have enough time in the morning to do that. Well, setting my alarm is one of the things I need to do. Setting my alarm to get up an hour early is one of the things I need to do to be consistent at it, right? I don't want to hit the snooze button, and I don't want to start my day off with procrastination. So the new habit that I need to start, so that's the new habit that I need to start. But I have an old habit that I also need to stop. It's working against me, right? And that's when I'm staying up late, scrolling on my phone on social media. I think this is one of the reasons why it's so difficult to start a new good habit is because we also have to get rid of an old bad one that is already a habit. So not only do I need to manage the time I wake up, I need to manage the time that I go to sleep. Actually, managing my bedtime is more important than me managing the time that I get up. So think about that whenever you're setting your goals. The 9th tip is we want to focus on consistency over intensity. Literally apply this rule to any area of your life and it will improve. I watched a real life race between a tortoise and a hare. Have you guys seen this? A real life race between a tortoise and a hare. Who do you think won? The tortoise actually wins in real life. I know. I thought for sure the hare was going to crush it, but it didn't. See, the tortoise really just took small, consistent steps towards that finish line. And the hare, when it would take a step, it was a big step, a big jump, 2 hops, way further than the tortoise for a little bit. But then it just stopped and did nothing. It just sat there. The tortoise slowly passed it. It's the consistency. Right? Try this rule with your spouse. Try this rule with your friendships. Try this rule with your marketing, with your workout. Small, consistent action. Literally everything will improve. Do you think that like if I went hard on Valentine's Day and my wife's birthday, but then didn't do anything else for her the rest of the year, that we would have a good relationship? No. But if we do date nights every week or every other week, or even once a month, or I bring her flowers on a random Tuesday, or get her something that she mentioned a month ago. And I wrote it down. And I did those things without the year, and then just did a little bit for Valentine's Day and a little bit for her birthday. You think she's going to be upset that I didn't go hard on those days? I don't think so. Maybe she is. Who knows? All right. So we've been over a lot of stuff so far. We went over beliefs and self-talk. We went over deciding what we want, creating a vision for our life. We went over visiting that vision regularly and writing those goals down daily and what that could do for you. We went over effort over outcome, progress over perfection, planting those seeds, how to be productive over being busy, working on setting up your success schedule, working on trusting yourself, using the 5-second rule and how that can help you move to action immediately. Thank you, Heather. Focusing on consistency over intensity, focusing on sustainable habits over random action. Now, let's go over how this planner can help you stay on track and accomplish more than ever. Now, a goal setting tip that I've really liked is, first, we have the goal, we have the vision, we have the big picture, right? Then we break that down into priorities, right? Every goal has a few priorities around it. And then we take those priorities and we set small daily actions to meet that goal, right? So if my goal is to have 30 locations, 30 rental suites paying me $2,800 a month, the reason I set that goal is because I said, what do I need to do to become a millionaire and then make $1 million a year? Well, 30 locations paying me $2,800 a month is $1 million a year. So that's the goal I set. Big goal, not attainable this year, right? So I can break that down into smaller things if I want. Maybe I just say I want one more location. But I have a place in my planner for me to write down the big picture that I can revisit regularly. What are some things that are not attainable right now, but that I do want? Those are in here, right? Then in my daily planner, can you guys see this board? I wrote it down here. Oh, is it gonna fall over? Hold on a second. Might be hard to see the board from your view, but it's the same thing that's in your planner for those of you who have it. If you don't, that's fine. So I have the vision. I want 30 locations. The priorities are, I need to have a waiting list of renters who want to rent with us. That's priority 1. 2, I need to start working with the realtor to look for new locations. Priority 2. I need to find good contractors and I need to find good cleaners to support those locations. So those are 4 priorities that I've set around attaining that bigger goal. Then I can take those priorities and create daily tasks around accomplishing those. So for the waiting list of renters that I need, how am I going to create that? Number 1, I need to create an Instagram. I need to post 2 times a day. I need to follow and engage those service providers on social media. I need to have events and nurture my current renters to make sure they are happy and taken care of. I need to work on creating a lead opt-in, a funnel to get people's emails so I can keep in contact with them. I need to network with other salon owners for referrals for people they might not have room for. And possibly I need to create a networking group to nurture current and future renters where we can meet and have like a mastermind. So those are some of the priorities that I've set around doing that, right? So the planner has a place for me to write down my big goals every day. I have a waiting list of renters and I write them down like I already have it. Because again, our mind sees in pictures, and I want to start creating that. I want to see the vision of what I want in my head so that I can start seeing the opportunities that actually make that vision come true. So every day, big goals. I write down every day. I have a waiting list of mentors. Every day, I'm finding new locations. Every day, I write down my income goals. Some other things that I want to accomplish, like paying off my house. I have a paid off house. This is a really big goal. I put this one on my big goal sections, but I have written down here, I sold 1 million planners. That's a huge goal, but I changed that to I sell 30 planners a month for right now. Step by step, we'll get to that 1 million planners one day. So we have a place for you every day to write down your goals so you can visit that vision every single day. Over to the right, we have your most important task of the day. It's like, if I only accomplished or made progress on one thing in my business today that would give me a good step towards creating the life that I want, what is it? Write it down and do everything you can to accomplish that thing. Next, you have your daily tasks. There's 5 here. You can use the notes section at the bottom if you have more, but 5 things, 5 tasks, 5 actions that support those goals. Write it down, get it done. I've also included a place for connection and follow-up calls, because ultimately everything we want comes through people and relationships. And business is all about relationships, and you have to make relationships a priority. There's a place for you to do that and keep track of your progress there. Underneath that, we have your successes. This is key to keeping your energy up around your goals, because if you're like me and you don't do this, then you will not feel good about the stuff that you accomplish, because you just don't remember. You forget all the stuff you actually did. I will be having days where I'm down on myself because I'm like, bro, you didn't make enough progress today. And then until I actually, at the end of the night, go back and revisit and think about all the things I did, I write everything down here. That's a win. Every win. It doesn't have to be a business win. Spent 15 minutes playing with my son this morning. That's a win. That's an investment into our relationship, which ultimately at the end of my life is the most important thing that I could ever do. It's in there. I'll go. Sent 2 therapists their money from a chair massage. Worked on my presentation. Sent a massage custom emails about the calendar. Canceled a class. Sent presentation email. Spent time with my son. Go to rent her a room yesterday, right? Called Cox to set up new internet. Like, all these things are in my planner. These are all things that are either nurturing my current business or inching me towards my goals, or helping me nurture the most important relationships that I have, which is my family. Key to staying. Then you have your follow-up and connection calls and notes. Over here to the left, you have your today I am grateful for. Every day you get to write down what you're grateful for. Every day. Starting your day off with gratitude is an incredible way to start your day, because it's really difficult to be upset and be grateful. I hope that helps you guys. I appreciate your time today. I appreciate you showing up, and hopefully you got a couple of good tips out of this talk. Hopefully this talk helped you start wanting to make progress on your goals every day. Now, if anything I said resonates with you and you feel like you may need some support around what you're trying to achieve, I am offering a free hour coaching call or a strategy call, whatever you need. Shoot me a message and we can get that set up. But for now, honestly, if you guys want, I'm more than happy to spend some time working out a goal with you here on live. Thank you so much for showing up.